What's going on Facebook? What's happening YouTube? How y'all feel? You tuned in to another great episode of the Male Translations Podcast. For those of you, for those of you that don't know who I am, man, I just want to welcome you guys, man. My name is Clarence Brown. You can call me Coach Clarence. I'm a certified life coach and relationship coach, author, speaker, and the host of the Male Translations Podcast that you're watching right now. Um, this is another great episode. I got a great topic for you guys tonight, man. We're gonna be chopping it up. I got a guest for you guys tonight, man. My girl Stephanie Wynn from last week. I'm bringing her back, man. She is an author. She is also a host of the Let's Talk Business podcast, and also a digital market strategist. Did I say that right? Marketing strategist, digital market. Anyway, but good friend of the show, and awesome conversation every time we link up, man. Let me give a quick shout out to Deja Monet. Let me see, Frizz Andres, Sis06 out there on Instagram, Bettina Sugar. I hope I said that right. So as you guys already know, man, we doing a multiple stream right now, man. So right now I got Instagram going on, Facebook, YouTube going on. So the topic for tonight is wanting the right one from day one. Right? Say that again. Wanting the right one from day one. What's going on, Jeff? 2% Cleese. Hello, everybody. What's happening, Jeff, man? What's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in tonight. So, guys, tonight we're going to have a great conversation. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you hit that comment section. I got the new feature right now. I'm able to highlight your comments to be able to show love for you guys showing love to the show. So, while we're getting into it, I just want to make you guys aware, man, right now, got a few things that I have available. Remember, go to the website, relationshiphealing.co. Let me go ahead and put that into the comments. That is my website, right? So if you guys go there, you'll notice that there's a pop-up for a free high quality man versus low quality man checklist. That is my offering to everybody that's supporting the podcast, ladies especially, because oftentimes ladies, y'all waste too much time with the wrong guy and not really are quick enough to discern if the guy that you're talking with or dealing with or newly being acquainted with is actually the right guy for you. And so oftentimes I get two questions. One is, where are the good guys and what is it that guys want? And in this checklist, it details a lot of that. It gives you a lot of the reason why so many women are getting caught up nowadays when it comes to dating. So get right into it. Let me bring my guest, Stephanie Wynn, in. I want y'all to give a virtual round of applause for my girl, Stephanie A. Wynn. Like I said, author, also host of the Let's Talk Business podcast, a great podcast on all streaming platforms. So please check that out if y'all in your car, at the gym, in a coffee shop, library, wherever you are. Tune in to the Let's Talk Business podcast. I also been a guest on there as well. So let's bring her in. Stephanie A. Wynn, what's happening? How you feeling?
Hey. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yep. Let me turn it up just a little bit. Turn up. Right? Yeah.
Thanks for having me back. Last week was really good.
Yeah, it absolutely was. It absolutely was. And as I was saying last week, man, oftentimes people ask me, hey, where do you get your topics? Where do you get the content that you're going to talk about? And oftentimes it's from my own life. It's from clients that I have come through. Also, people within my life, man. That's family, that's friends, that's, co-workers, peers all around me. And so I oftentimes have this slogan: we all go through the same thing. We just handle it differently. So many times people present situations that we all encounter. It's just that the difference is what did they do versus what did I do, right? And so now when we have this chance to kind of break down some of these situations, to me, I think that it's only right for us to chop it up on this situation that we talked about last week somewhat, which is wanting the right one from day one, right? Wanting the right one from day one. And so you kind of actually was the what can I say? The thought behind the whole topic itself, you know what I mean? And so I thought it'd be only right to do it just right by bringing you back on board. So here's the thing, right? Remember what we were talking about singles and dating, and we was talking about how, in a lot of situations, people are quick to be out of a relationship, something that before it grows legs, they're before it even grows legs, they're moving on to the next thing. And
Mhm.
times people judge the opposite side. You'll have women judge men. You have
Mhm.
men judge women about the unwillingness to stay and what some of the trivial and petty things people decide to move on behind are, right? So, I even got a comment when I did my live yesterday. A lady was like, well, you can't trust men. Something to the effect of you can't trust men because a man is going to leave the good girl for the big booty. And I was like, well, why the good girl can't have a big booty? Why the good girl just all of a sudden she's 6 o'clock in the bag? Why she got to be up
Mhm.
flat upside and down? But it is those mindsets of what people perceive the opposite sex being petty behind when it comes to what they see value in dating. So I feel like we got to chop it up. So let's get right into it. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like I said, guys, if y'all have comments, hit that comment box, Facebook or YouTube will be able to highlight those comments so everybody can see what it is that's on your mind. So I have some questions, as I always do, Stephanie, to kind of get the conversation started, right?
Mhm.
So I gotta ask right off the bat, and for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, if you guys have answers to these questions, let your boy know, man. Hit that comment box. The question starts off like this stuff. Do you think today's women want men to be ready-made or ready to mold? And adversely, do you think men want women who are ready-made or ready to mold? Start the conversation out. What do you think that answer is from what you see?
Ooh, child. Okay, so I was looking at this question and I'm like, ugh. So I'm gonna just tell you my opinion. And I know
Go ahead, yeah.
Jeff might come for me too. But I think with today's women, when you say today's women, are we talking about the younger generation or are we talking about the generation that is, late 30s, mid 40s, 50s, 60s, So I'm going to answer this for my group,
Yeah,
right?
I think it's
My
one and
gen-
the same. If you're asking to me, I think when I ask that question, I'm just speaking of
Women in general.
in general. So it doesn't
Okay.
matter.
I think that for me, I think that today's women want a man who really can bring something to the table. I think a lot of times, and for the men want a woman that can bring something to the table. I'm talking, when I say something, I mean substance. Not talking about sexual, we know what time that is. But I'm talking about true substance. Like, can you mentally stimulate my mind? Not my behind, but my mind,
Y'all
right?
feeling that, ladies? She said that ladies need a man to bring something to the table. How y'all feel
Right.
about it?
I'm saying if I'm bringing the meal, at least you can bring the napkin and the fork and a spoon. You got to sit down and wipe your mouth after you eat this meal. So at least you could bring a napkin to the table. I see some people that, specifically some brothers, they don't bring anything to the table. They just think that what they have is enough. And it really, is it enough? For some people, look, baby, come on in. I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna make sure, because my grandma always told me the key to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
Right.
So you could do all of those things. You could have men can do all of those things too. They can bring the meal to the table. They can bring the napkins and the paper plates or whatever they bring to the table, and that may not be enough still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think we want what we want, and that is I'm gonna go back to what I said last week. It's all about respect. We want respect. We want somebody that can really understand and stimulate our mind. Like, we've had enough of, dang girl, you got a big booty, or you thick in the thigh. We know what that is. You know what I'm saying? It's more
Right.
of, what can we do for each other? And how is this thing going to work?
Okay. I can buy that. So my rebuttal to that is that I think that the question was, do today's women want a man who's ready-made or ready to mold?
Right.
And to the contrary of that, do men want a woman who's ready-made or ready to mold? You had something you want to say real quick, Steph?
Yeah. So, okay, to that, I'm going to answer the other part. Looking at it today, I think people want somebody that's already put together. He already got it together. I'm not taking no, man that ain't got it together. You could have it halfway together. And I think some women be like, no, he got to be on my level. Well, what is that level like? Right. And that's what we talked about last week. We got to be honest with ourselves. Like, what is your level? Because you may not even be sure of what your level is. So to the men, what's your level? Oh, I need a woman that need to have this. Well, what is that? Do you know what that is? And if are they ready to mold on Clarence? Let's talk about that. Anything can be changed if you practice it 30 days or better, right?
Right.
Anything
like my online course, How to Attract a Man,
in 30 days. Yes, in 30 days. So we could mold anything, but I'm not trying to change nobody. Like, I think that we go into these relationships, we feel like they got to be this way, they got to be that way. Like, let the person be who they truly are, because what happens is, Clarence, and this is just my opinion, people start to resent that person because now they put on this facade for so long, they feel like they can't be themselves. The relationship goes somewhere else, or you start to have the infidelity because now I can't be who I really truly want to be. Just my opinion.
No, you made a lot of great points. Some that I disagree with, but we also got some agreements as well. So let me see on Instagram. My girl Black Butterfly, she says, yes, women want a man. Y'all got to forgive me because my background is white. Want a man to have something to offer, or at least help contribute to the relationship. Okay. So that was, like I say, Black Butterfly. Thank you. Shout out to you on Instagram, who said that, yes, want a man to bring something to the table. But here's the thing, right? So a couple of things that you said. First of all, before I get into it, and from what I see as a relationship coach, women want a man who's ready-made, and men want a man who's ready to mold. Okay, there's two differences, and I think that first of all, before we go so deep into it, we dive to the deepness into the ocean. We got to address that, right? So when it comes to single folks right now, you have women that are looking for, like you said, a man who is ready-made, bring something to the table. But for every woman, that table is different, and the requirements of that table is different. Right. So I have a woman that say, hey, listen, my table is full with Guyanese food. Another woman say, hey, I don't need nothing but jerk, chicken, Jamaican food, Caribbean food. Another woman say, hey, I'm soul food down, greens, mac and cheese, yams, neck bones, things like that. So first of all, when we talk about the proverbial table that women want men to bring something to, first of all, I got to know what exactly your table, what is required at the table, right? Yes. And so that's one thing that gets a lot of women messed up and a lot of men tripped up, is because we feel like, hey, listen, I'm bringing X, Y, and Z to the table, but for your table, like you said, it's just not good enough. And so you have a lot of men that become disheartened because we like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me, me having my life in order, me having, control over my children's situation, my co-parenting situation with somebody, I'm moving in a certain direction in my life, I might not have gotten it, all of these things, and yet for your particular table, it's still like, that just ain't it though. Like I need this, I need this. The other, that can be very confusing when the thing is that I think for a man, the table is pretty much the same, as opposed to it being an all around the world different situation when you go to different tables when it comes to women. I say that because how many things can you as a woman identify as, hey, this is a woman's responsibility? Anytime she's in a man's life, you can count on a woman to be responsible for this thing. I'm not talking about, hey, love and we're responsible for just nurturing. Like, that's very vague. But yet when it comes to a man, it's very specific and detailed, right? So another thing that you said was we want what we want. And I think that is another thing. that goes back to the table that says that, hey, regardless of what you have, my table requires this, and this is what I want, this is what I see value and how I view you, even though in your eyes you may say that you are a quality guy. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is to let them be who they want to be. Let them be who they are. I think that I touched on this in my book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. You can grab that on my website, ebook or copy. But the thing is, when you meet a woman, most of the time y'all in a very favorable position to be who you truly are, and the man has to be forced and pressured to expose who he is a lot more sooner than maybe he is comfortable to. Why?
Right.
Because women today say, hey, man, I want you to be transparent. I'm tired of wasting time. I know what I want, so come out and let me know what it is and who you are. Let me know up front. But yet the same is not required of women, because all of a sudden now a woman can hide under the veil of, I'm not comfortable yet. Like even mentioned last time we spoke, you were saying, hey, you know, if a man is talking about a specific subject matter, that's a turnoff to you. Example, it was children. So a man talking about kids too soon, like to you, that's like, listen, I've already passed that stage in my life, sir. I appreciate that, but that's not what I'm on right now. So again, you're in a position to dictate based upon what you deem is important, what you deem is safe grounds to sow roots in, to say, okay, well, these are the subject matters that make me feel like this is moving in a forward direction, as opposed to it just being common conversation. But yet you're able to kind of shield yourself to say, until I'm comfortable opening up to you, I'm not going to reveal some of the things that I'm expecting of you to reveal. So that's just my place. I think that going back to the question, I think that's the difference. A lot of women today aren't ready to mold, because why? They want what they want. They set in their ways. I put a post up the other day that says, hey, as a man gets older, he becomes more attractive to women. And as a woman gets older, she becomes less attractive to men. And a lot of women didn't understand that. And the reason why I said that is because, think about it. If a man, as a man gets older in life, he becomes more stable himself and more attractive based upon his ability to provide and be somewhat of that, hey, ready-made guy. And women that are younger complain about the guys that are in their age bracket aren't yet ready to provide and step up to the plate, which is why guys are like, well, hey, you guys mature faster than us. Now that we're older, now we're ready and capable, but yet you wanted us to be that 5-10 years earlier, and we just weren't that yet. But yet as women get older, you become more set in your ways and less flexible based upon your experiences in life and relationships. So therefore that makes you harder to mold. You're not ready to mold, because now you're saying, no, I'm ready. You need to be ready. I'm good. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So what are you gonna say to that stuff?
Well, you know, I think that you know, I'm an older woman, right? And I'm single. So I have to disagree with that post. I mean, what you said about that, because
you can see Jeff's comment on the
yeah,
screen.
I see Jeff. Oh, and Jeff did say, I think women want a man to have all of the above. I think men are willing to take either or and work with what they are presented with, especially if he likes what he sees. And men are, you guys are visual, right? You're visual. Some and women are too. Like we are, everybody's visual. But I really agree, and we can agree and disagree, but I think that it's so superficial now with we dealing with social media, we dealing with all of this facade. You got to look this way. People are not confident, to believe that they could be that one for that person, and I think it's more of self-confidence. You got to believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself to know that you can be with this person, whether it's the male or the female. And I just think that we want to rush into a lot of things. And yes, time is of the essence. It's of the essence. But I do think that we have to truly, really understand first and foremost who we are. Like, if you don't know who you are, you may say, this man has to have straight teeth. He has to be 6'2" and above, but you might be missing out. What if he's 5'9" or 5'11", and he could be just as the most amazing person? You're missing out because you have these little small those are details that really really matter. If he love you for who you are, if
Right.
he stimulates
Shout
your
out
mind,
Kofa Tanya. I see you, girl. Go ahead,
so
Steph.
that's just my take. I mean, but I do think as far as the molding, what are you like the molding part? Anything could be, like I said, we could mold something within 30 days. Like, but if you two vibe with each other and it's really good and y'all enjoy each other and y'all understand each other and it's working for you,
Mhm.
I mean, are we molding or are we growing together?
We're molding. That's the
Okay.
answer. We're molding to each other. And I
Okay.
think that's where the conflict comes from. I'm glad
Okay.
you asked that because I think that's where the conflict comes from in the fact that when I made that statement about as men age versus women age,
Hmm.
because we are both drying clay, if that makes sense. I remember
Yes.
back in the day I was in ceramics class when I was in school and stuff like that. So yeah, like we are drying clay, but yet that the dry clay of a man needs to be fit in the image of something,
Right.
where a woman still needs to be soft clay and able for a man to make him in the image that he wants for himself. And so that is where the conflict happens because a woman says, I'm already a sculpture. So when you come and meet me, there's no need to mold me to your ways because I'm already molded. And the
Gotcha.
conflict comes from the fact that the man says, yes, indeed, woman, you are already molded, just not fit to my liking. And so
Right.
now this is where you have the two going back against each other because the woman is saying, well, I just can't find anybody that's molded to the image that I desire. But yet I think that that's because a man is looking for a woman who's open, vulnerable, and willing to be molded to the image of his desire if she feels like he's worth it. And I think that what happens is that worth it part is the caveat because a lot of women won't make a move, especially the first move, unless she knows for certain that that guy is worth it. It's just that a lot of the times those guys who are worth it, they
Hmm.
don't they not looking for you to validate you. They're not looking to
Gotcha.
have to prove to you that I'm all of this. It's like, okay, I have this going on, these things going on. Hey, my time is just as important as y'all's. And then now where we at? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Yes.
here's the thing. Let me take it on down the rabbit hole here as we so yeah, because the reason why, like I say, this topic is relevant because nowadays I think this is what is the difference in how we view each other and how we see each other, right? So
Hmm.
the question I want to ask Steph is it safe to say majority of daters today can be classified as microwave daters? Right. For those of you that don't know what that means when it comes to microwave dating, that's wanting relationship success right away without
Hmm.
any effort. Right. Think about when you're putting something in the microwave versus you having to prep and chop vegetables down and season the meat and preheat the oven and put it in. Now I don't remember the last time I put something in the oven and it was done in less than an hour. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
now we all know that that meal is going to be 10 times better than what comes out of the microwave. Sometimes you got to put it back in the microwave. It's still cold,
Hmm.
all that.
Hmm.
Do you
Hmm.
think today's daters can be classified that way as microwave daters wanting us success, relationship success without any effort?
I think that and I agree with microwavable daters. I talk about microwavable success all the time, and I think that we're so excited about being in a relationship because maybe people feel like, oh, this is it. Like this is it. I gotta do this. Like I gotta. It's time. We need to rush.
Right,
Let's
right,
move forward. And instead of, like you said, they don't put forth. If you don't put forth an effort, remember, a relationship is going to require two things, and that's time and effort, right?
facts.
So, and if you don't put forth an effort, you miss something. You miss the signs. And I think
Mhm.
those signs are what we should have found during the first few dates or something, because you're so, oh, he's so fine, girl, and oh man, she's so fine. She's so pretty. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So we look at all of these outside things instead of digging deep, and looking at the heart, like what's going on. Have you went and sat around the family? Do you know let's really get down to the nitty gritty, and that
Right.
takes effort to go and sit around family and to see if this is somebody that you want to be around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe their actions show something that made them want to be more of a microwavable like dating, you know, make it quick, you know, let's make this thing happen, you know. Shoot, I see him on the first date. Hey, let's go. I'm ready.
You see, my boy Steph. My boy Jeff said, yeah, he agreed. He's agreed, and I think that today's singles, it doesn't matter where you are. You know, I'm a spiritual guy, so I see women in ministry, and I ask myself, is it any different for women who are spiritual women as opposed to somebody else, right? And
Right.
what I find is that it really isn't. I think that the same thing applies because when it comes to people's mindset of I want it right away, again, think about it, right? A woman will say, "Hey, listen, you know what? You should love me the way I am." Like when I go back to the statement I made about a woman wanting a man who's ready made, that's what scares men because it's almost like, do you want me for me or do you want me for the fact that I'm already in position to be able to
Right.
bring benefit to
Right.
your life and
Mm-hmm.
blow you up and all of this, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
on the flip side, you have women that look at men and say, "What you want me to be able to mold to you?" I'm scared of that because I'm fearful of what I may be losing by doing that, right? What I may be giving up, what independence, what control over my own life and destiny I'm giving up just by trying to follow you and do what it is that you said and not knowing if it's going to pan out, if it's going to pay off, right? And so you
Right.
have, like I said, everybody that's saying, "I don't really know, but I know one thing," going back to what you said earlier, I want what I want.
Yes.
I
That's
want what I want.
I want.
And for that reason, you have people that's really in their mindset saying, "Well, I just want what I want and I ain't trying to wait." You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like you said,
Um.
what time is of the essence. I'm gonna do my Dame
Yes.
time
Yes.
basketball fan. So yeah. So that I think is what comes in the way when you have a man wanting a woman who's ready to mold, but yet the woman is saying, I'm through making this commitment. I'm through adjusting. I'm through trying to submit and compromise and all of this. I want what I want. Woman
So,
also is looking at a man and say, "Hey, listen, I need you to come in and be ready to bring benefits, surplus, all kind of things like that. You know, I can do bad all by myself." And a man
right.
is, like you said, fearful, saying, "Nah, I don't really know if that's real love or if that's real commitment to who I am instead of what I
Mhm.
have."
So Jeff said, a great question, Clarence. Me being in ministry, I wondered the same thing about some Christians. So I want to go back to what you said about Christian women. There is a slight difference though between women who are spiritually connected and the ones that aren't spiritually connected. I think for women who are really truly spiritually grounded and
Mhm.
truly know who they are and where they are, they really can discern what type of man they want or where he is, what to do. Pretty much, they
Mhm.
really can discern. This is he's not gonna come all put together. She's not gonna come all put together, right?
Mhm.
The people that we are assigned to, like this is what we're doing here. This is a part of our ministry, right? So
Right.
this is ministry work. So the people that we are assigned to in this entrepreneurship, they're not going to come all together like we would want them to, right?
Mhm.
They're going to be broken, busted. Some of them may be disgusted, but but some you will know because I was once not spiritually grounded like I am now, and so I know when God tells me to move, I got to move. When He
Mhm.
tells me to hold on, wait a minute, I do just that. So sometimes when I wasn't spiritually connected, I would just, okay, I'm gonna just try to make this thing work. I think he the one, I think he's the one. And then like you see the signs and it's just, I can get through that. It's gonna work out. And it don't, and so, but the signs were there prior to I'm trying to make the thing work and it's not.
Mhm.
And we have to get out of the way. The signs are there. I think we as women, and I'm just speaking on we as women, we have to make sure, be honest with ourselves. What do we want? Like, what do we want?
Right.
What do we want? What do we want in a man? And you have to make it clear. You can write it down so you can see it, but he may not be that what you want. My coach had to tell me, break it down, Stephanie. The man for you is not going to look like you think he's going to look. He's not going to be who you think he is. So here we are.
So here's the thing, right? That's a great point. Because for me, even especially as I think about the fact that what you just said about how the man God sends for you and that he's molding and creating for you may not look like what you want him to look like. Are you okay with that? Right. Mm-hmm. I had to ask myself that same question as a man, even for my own wife, because at the time, listen, I'm a man. I like a full figure, curvy backside, type heavy in the trunk type woman. You dig what I'm saying? So my wife, we joke now because I tell her, I was like, back when we was dating, you ain't have none of that. She was like, I had some for my size, for my shape. I was, I had but for my size. I'm like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Either you got it, or you don't. Give me this gift for my size. Like, nobody, like, what? But because of that, see, when women put too much on the fact that men are visual, like, you forget that a man is looking for two things: peace and understanding. Okay. When I asked earlier, what can a man what can a woman hang her hat on to say, or even require of other women to say, this is the standard, ladies. We at least have to be responsible for these things. Like I said, every table is different. Bring something to the table, but I require this. Another woman require this. Another woman say, just bring silverware. Another one just say, hey, bring this, bring the lettuce. And everybody requiring something different. But yet a man, two things in particular, and it doesn't matter how much you talking about, oh, a man so visual, because for me, even the fact that I wasn't so enamored by one feature that to me was important, I said, I'm not about to risk all these other things just because that's not fitting the mold that like I thought. Because I said, right, if God is sending her to me, why would I risk all of the benefit just because of this one thing? Right.
Right.
And of course, now it's much better. Go back to the DMX song with what was it, How's It Going Down? Since
yes.
Hey, yes. You already know what line I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm cool. But at the same time, in my mind, I had to deal with that. I had to wrestle with that. And I'm glad I didn't go the other way, because now I know my life is shifted in for the benefit. But I'll just say that because I know women put too much stock and belief upon how a man's so visual that sometimes they lose confidence. And that's kind of going back to what you said. And a man can deal with a little bit of gut if you are loving him, respecting him, holding him up, and propping him up. A man is not, he's going to be able to deal with that. He's going to look over and look past that. But and this is why so many women get upset when men step out and they like, what she look like, where she at? Oh, I seen her. You gonna with this over here? And it's like, because it didn't have anything to do with that.
Right. It doesn't. And someone told me that, like, you bring me peace, and so when I was dating, and I was like, wow, like, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, hey, who you been dealing with? So like, and so, my dad had to tell me, like, some men just want someone that, they bring peace to their life. Right. And they support what they do, and they're proud of them. It's not so much of, the glitz and the glam. And a lot of women. Okay.
When it comes, ladies, what you got to realize, because here's the thing, a lot of ladies say, and I just want to say that before I forget it, and I think it's very, very important. It's not about what you're doing, it's who you're doing it for, which is why I created a checklist for you to be able to decide or peep out and see certain traits, because I identify the difference in how high quality men date and low quality men date. The reason why I do that is because women so many times, they waste too much time with this guy and give too much of themselves, and then feel like the problem was I gave too much of myself.
Right.
And that wasn't the problem. The problem was you weren't able to discern if this guy was worth it or not, or valued the peace that you was bringing to his life. So still important. A man is still looking for peace and understanding. Hey,
Right.
physical attraction is good, sexual attraction, that's great. But after all of that evaporates and everything evaporates, then it's back to the baseline of, do you bring peace to my life, and do you understand me? So many
Right.
men get that are attached to women that they say, man, it just seemed like she just understand me, dog. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I ain't supposed to be doing this, but it just feel like she understands me better, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing was peace. So when you are able to identify sooner who this guy is, now you're able to really blossom and open up without fear, or if you're making a mistake, because that is what every man is looking for. It's just that some men don't value it, and those men are the ones you want to stay away from. Go ahead, Steph.
So that's good that you said that. That is good. The lower, what did you call it? The lower
Lower
the
quality, low
the
frequency.
low frequency man. Woo! I got to use that one, Clarence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I think we have to, ladies, like, there are some good men out here. They really are. And they're waiting for us, for my single ladies. They're waiting for us
To bring peace to their
to
life.
bring peace to their life. I'm all
Facts.
about peace and serenity and just calmness, because what's the alternative? Being mad and disgruntled all the time, upset.
Right.
You have to have enough confidence, and this is for my ladies. We have to have enough confidence to know that we matter, and we can be the peace that bring the peace to the man, right? I believe God made a woman and a man, the woman to be his helpmate, because we are supposed to bring the peace to his life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's the thing, and it's not to say that you lose any control or power yourself.
Mhm.
I'm never the relationship coach that says, hey, you submit and don't have no mindset, don't have any thoughts of your own. What I do encourage women to do is, however they feel, you can still speak openly and honestly and bring it to your partner, as
Mhm.
long as you understand that is, if you're bringing it to them peacefully, then you can't be made fault or put at fault because of what you said. A lot of the times a person feel like, well, I'm trying, I said this, I said that. And I'm like, okay, first, how did you approach him? If you
Right.
approach him peacefully and he didn't respond or wouldn't give you an answer, that's not your fault. That's on him. You're doing your due diligence. You can at least hold him accountable to the fact that you're probing and asking and trying to gain clarity, and he's just unwilling to talk to you. But if it's certain things where it's like, well, you know what, I was mad and I was fed up and I just went for it. It's like, okay, it wasn't Ice Cube Mom and Friday. Oh yeah, and that's how you feel. You know what I mean? Hands in the air, go ahead.
Yes,
But at the
yes.
same time, what were your results? What results did that yield you? Right. So let me move this forward. I got to ask another question. Right. So here we go. Who has higher expectations on them when dating today? Is it men or is it women, and why? Who has higher expectations on them?
Okay, so I'm just going to say my opinion. Like, I think our expectations as women, because we are nurturers, right? We're nurturers by design.
Okay, hold on one second, Steph. Let me before you go into that. Cliff said high value and low value. Explain that. Okay, so Cliff,
Okay.
check this out, bro. So you know just as well as I know that there are certain guys that you wouldn't allow your daughter, your nieces, nobody that's a female or woman in your family to deal with. Why? Because you know that their intentions ain't right. You know that where they at in their life isn't where you would want some woman that you hold close and value to you to associate with, right? So those guys I classify as low value, low quality. Actually, high value is that's Kevin Samuels' thing. My thing is quality over value. So when I say low value, what I'm saying low quality, what I mean by that is a certain guy that you know, hey, is not where he needs to be in life and still has bad intentions moving forward. I have some partners like that. I know you got some partners like that. I know you know some men like that. And when it comes to the high value, or in my opinion, high quality, that's the guys that's high character. The guys that are honorable men, that are about their mission, that's about they drive, that's going in a certain direction, that's striving for greatness every day. And it doesn't, to me, matter how much money they have. It's about what's inside here, what's inside their chest. and what's inside here, how they think, how they move, how they operate. So I just wanted to clarify that because he had put in the comment section high value versus low value, explain that. So I wanted to give some context to that because, like I said, this is not every man. But we know, even as men, like, bro, I wouldn't listen. Let me find out my niece talking to this dude. I'm like, hey, all right, bro, appreciate you. All right, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm good. She good. She good. So that's all I'm saying. So back to the question.
Higher expectations.
Higher expectations on them. Go ahead, Steph. I'm sorry about that.
So I think that with women, like we go in thinking, you know, our expectations are one thing, and our expectations are up here. I don't know if y'all can see my hand. It's like way up here. Way up here.
About women? No.
Yes. I think our expectations when it comes to dating.
Allison, I'm streaming live right now on YouTube and Facebook. So it's not really call in, but if you're on Facebook or YouTube, the comment can be added to the stream. Shout out to Allison, also a dating and relationship coach. Okay. Go ahead, Steph.
I think that I think for when like we have expectations like in our mind, okay, we're dating this guy, we go on the first date and then it goes well. And our expectations are, okay, he's gonna do this, and in our mind, we think he's supposed to call me, you know, if he don't call, oh dang, I wonder what he doing. You know what I'm saying? Why he hasn't called, you know, so the expectation, I'm just using this as an example for the purpose of this question. But our expectations, we put too much expectations, I think, in the wrong place when we're dating. I think we should take our expectations and put it where it matters the most. Like, where do you stand in this date? Because you can't go in on a date one time, two times and think that, oh, this is my boyfriend. Like, no, we haven't even gotten to know each other to get that status. But it is something out there. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes our expectation, date number one, then date number two goes well. We think we're in a full-fledged, it's about to happen. That's where the microwavable daters come in. Right? So I think, and I'm not sure for men, because I'm not a man, I don't know what y'all think, and maybe that's for you to clarify, Clarence. But I think that I think women have higher expectations, and then when it don't work out, we're heartbroken because we thought that it was going somewhere and it didn't. Like, you know, so I think that's why now, like, my expectation is 0. We go on a date, that's the date. The first date, that's the first date. The second date, we're going on the second date, and that's good. You know, I don't have an attitude or anything like that. I just, you know, no expectations, no disappointment. So if you don't expect anything, you won't be disappointed.
You know what that just did? That just disappointed me, Steph. Is no expectation, no disappointment. That disappoints me as a relationship coach. And ultimately, here's the thing, right? So the reason why I started coaching relationships is because I felt like I had a keen eye on what, you know, was happening in relationships. I'm able to articulate in a certain degree what's happening and what I'm seeing. And at the same time, you know, I went to school for it as well because I have a passion to help people. And when it comes to relationships and anything else, I coach basketball as well. I mentor and I coach, and I'm a life coach and relationship coach. The reason being for that is because I want to see y'all develop. I want to see you grow. I like to see when I'm coaching basketball, seeing a kid that's trash, has no skill, like, and then I start working with him and showing him things. And then when I see him implement what I just showed him in the game, like, I'm more excited than he is. Because like, he just did the same thing I just showed him in practice. He just did that. Like, and I see him just do it. And he only did it because he knew after I showed him, or she knew after I gave her some tips, right? And so the reason why now I'm saying that that's disappointing to me is because even in my book, all right, the last chapter of my book, Come and Talk to Me, is talked about expectations versus reality, right? And there, you need to have expectations with anybody. It doesn't matter. And I understand why you may feel like, you know what, like, I'm done having expectations, because that's a setup for failure. But at the same time, it's almost like to say you have a plan with no goal. So it's like, well, what is in my opinion, every time you meet somebody, I know what my goal is. So I need to know if you with my plan or not, because this is what my destination is. This is what I'm looking for as the end result, the end all be all, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so even for myself as a man, when I was dating women, like I'm saying, hey, listen, certain women, I know what I'm here for. I know I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And certain women, it's like, yo, I see potential in this. But it's because I'm saying to myself, one, I know what I want, and my expectations are to get what I want. And if you're not the person that's gonna give me that, then no beef. I'm cool. Most of the time they had beef with me because I'm like, they was fine, and I'm like, I done moved on. They're like, wait a minute, that don't happen. Like, what?
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's because I knew what I wanted. And I think sometimes ladies that have that mentality of no expectations, they just say, you know what? It's almost like the goal that I have is so far from me to reach that I don't
Mm-hmm.
even, I'm just put those expectations off of the shelf. And so I just say that because that just made me feel a certain type of way. I want for everybody that's in my circle, that people that I know, to have what it is that they want in life. And especially when it comes to relationships, I feel like so many people are way more happier when they have somebody loving on them the right way, and they have somebody to love on the right way also.
Right. That's yeah, most definitely. But what I'm saying is, and
Oh,
the reality is, yes, the reality is, if we go on date number one, it's just a date.
mm-hmm,
You go on date number two, it's just a date. It's
mm-hmm,
no my goal is to be remarried again.
mm-hmm,
That's my goal. But I can't go in there expecting, oh, this gonna be the love of my life. After
mm-hmm.
date one, date one may not go so well. So I think the reality is that just take each date as it comes. Don't put too much. I think we put too much pressure on. That's where we go back to the microwavable daters. I think we put so much pressure on, like, we want to get married on date one, two, you know, or
Right.
like I said, I went on a date. They wanted to start talking about kids. My children are grown. So I think we should get to know this person, because it could very well be, I've heard people say they dated for a month, and on month 3 they got married and they're still together. You know what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
know it's possible. I'm just saying, like, for me, like, because I'm emotional. Women are
Right.
emotional, right? So you have to guard your emotions. You can't just be out here just, oh my God, I think this is it. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
it. And it's not. So then you
Okay, I
disappointed,
get you.
right?
I think
You know
it
what I'm
was a
saying?
misunderstanding.
Yeah, so it's not. So and maybe I said it wrong, but I think, like you said, it's more of the reality, like, more of reality. What is it? You have a goal. What's your goal? What's your goal on date? Do you want to date for a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
for a cause? Like, I'm looking for something exclusive, right? So,
Right.
or
My
not.
thing is too, though. I think that one of the question was who has higher expectations on them
Mhm.
when it comes to dating. Of course, you already know I'm gonna say is men, and not to even be biased. It's just the fact that a man, even I keep referring back to it. Y'all need to grab this, man. It's a quick read. You see, it's not one of them thick. You know what I mean? Look, you can get
Yeah,
that off
you
real
can read that
quick.
in one day, right?
Right? Let me see. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So for those out there that's like, like to audible it like myself, I like to consume my information audibly.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, this book right here, you can get it ebook or you can get a copy. It talks about the first chapter talks about how why men hate being vulnerable. And when it comes to the expectations of a man when he meets a woman, a lot of the times those expectations are what can deem him unfit to date right off the bat. And it could be for anything. It could be for bad breath. It could be because he left his wallet at home on the first date. It could be
Hmm.
because he's talking about kids and how he want kids too soon. And that's a turn off to you. And because, you know what I mean? It could be anything. It could be, hey, listen, you know what? His car, like I remember say, hey, a woman say she didn't talk to a dude that first date because his car was dirty and it smelled. Right. But in my opinion, while those flaws may be present, those are things that you can fix, and it doesn't define the character of a person. But
Right.
I think higher expectations are on men because we are required to bring benefit from day one. The topic is, do you want the right one from day one? And a lot of women require a man to have himself together and bring benefit. If you're gonna open your mouth and speak to me, it's better be in an effort to bring some level of benefit to my life, stability, a foundation that we can build from. Like, this is what is required. So and if it doesn't work out, then most of the time it's viewed as the man's fault. Either he didn't have himself together, or he was just he was a little crazy girl. I don't know, I can't get down with that. Like, but yet, it's how many times have you heard a woman say, you know what, like, dang, I let that one go because I was just tripping. How many times? Not even when the last time. Let me add, when the first time have you heard a woman? Not when the last time you heard it, because it ain't like, I'm like, when the first time have you heard a woman literally say, oh, you know what, like that one right there, like it was.
I mean,
right
I've had,
you know what? I messed it up.
I've had some peers tell me that. Women.
Honestly, really?
Yes. And I'm one of them. Like I yes.
Right.
I mean, but I mean, it's very rare. It's rare, and it's rare. It is rare. It's rare that you hear like that, from a woman. Yeah. But again, I want to get back to, okay, so why do you think that men have higher expectations than women?
My boy Jeff, never. What was the question? Why? What now?
So why do you feel like, let us know, how do you feel that men have higher expectations? Like, give us an example of a man's expectation.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the expectations women have over men are higher than what men have over women.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I think that, like I said, and again, it could change any given Sunday, like the movie. Like, today you just like, hey, listen, I'm going through something right now. You know what? Like, a family member just passed, and my mind is a different space. Most of the time, you don't want to give context, because why? It starts to pull on those heartstrings. But yet, your mood is affected by certain things happening in your life and around you. Now, when a person is interacting with you, you don't recognize how sharp. Having catty you may be, because now you in your mind is you're going through something right now, and it's just, again, so many things that put a woman in position to say, hey, give me my time, allow me to do it how I want it done. And so expectation still is for accept that, understand that, deal with that, while still being expected to bring all the benefit he was able to bring from day one.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna ask you, I've got two more questions. One is, what would you say is the contributor to this quote unquote right one from day one mindset in singles?
What would you say is the biggest contributor to this?
Yeah, the mindset of, I want the right one from day one. Is there one thing that you really puts wood to the fire when it comes to that thought process of, you know what, like, if I'm gonna get it, it's got to be like this?
Well, I think it just goes back to, well, first, like your mindset. Well, you got to have a growth mindset. You got to have that type of mindset to think that, like, but having the right one from day one mindset, I don't think that, to me, that's impossible. I mean, well, it's not. Nothing's with God, all things are possible. But I'm saying, like, you really have to, you got me on that one. You really have, because what I want to say is, I think that come from a mindset of, I'm gonna get what I want. I'm gonna get what I want. I want what I want, and it's gonna be, they say speak it into existence, right? So that right one from day one, oh, he's coming, and maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe they are.
Here's the thing, though. I'm gonna let you ponder on that a little bit more, because I got, as I was writing this question out, and I want to grab it right now, but I'm streaming on it on Instagram, and that's my cell phone. the
Okay.
cell phone and some, I don't know, cell phone, maybe social media, but me, I think just the cell phone in general has created the mindset of people today to say, hey, whatever I get, it's got to be the most convenient, whether it's Uber Eats, whether it's Lyft, whether it's, hey, I you know what, like we have an all-in-one encompassing device in our hands every day. You know what I mean? We ain't got to have the mark of the beast in our hand. The mark of the beast is in our hand with this cell phone. And I think that when it comes to, you know, what is the biggest contributor? I think that the fact that we have everything at the touch of our fingertips has made the things outside of our life, the things that we see in our life, and we wanted to emulate and mimic that same type of reaction time, where it's like, okay, I want it, so be it. Okay, I want this on Amazon. I click it, I bought it. It'll be here in 2 days. And I think that for me, I think that that's one of the biggest reasons why you have people that look at dating and relationships the same way and have this right one from day one mindset.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with that. I think that, yeah, the cell phone that's, to me, I think that's a distraction. I think, with that, I think also lack of, effort. Like, because we want what we want right now. Like you said, it's right now. It also goes back to microwavable daters. I'm gonna keep going back to that term because it's just that even being a microwavable dater, it's still gonna take effort. Like, you just don't want to put forth an effort in communicating with this person that you feel may be the right one on day one. Right? You hide behind the text messages, or but that's a whole nother story, topic for another day. But again, I'm in agreement with that, with what you said, that the cell phone.
So one of my supporters, Deja Monet says, or Deja Simone, thank you, because I always get that wrong, and I'm sure you like, man, so she says, it seems like we want instant gratification, and I think that that's so true, and I'm glad, Deja, that you said that, is because it's not gender specific, but I think that on both sides, the instant gratification is the ultimate desire, and what makes a person feels like, you know what, like, cool, this is what I can get with. And what I said earlier, everything being at the fingertips makes people view relationships no different, to say that, well, why is it that everything else is so instant, but now I gotta wait and put in all this work and go through arguments and growth and learning this person and learning me, and let's just get down to the jump the broom, let's get married, play Jagged Edge in the background. Let's get to that.
Ooh, meet me at the altar.
Right. That's a fact. Appreciate you, Deja. So my question, and after this, I want to open it up to the audience, everybody that's locked in right now. Again, the topic is wanting the right one from day one. So with everything that we talked about, stuff, I want you to give us what you think in your mind is the solution. How do we do better?
Well, I think, shout out to Clifford Young. Hey, Cliff. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. I think that how we can do better is, I just think we should be more transparent, like, and make the other person feel like they can be themselves. Like, we go in, like, we'll, and the ladies will go in, we'll go in with our Sunday best, right?
Right.
But is that really, like, when we get down to the thick of things, again, it's just simplistic. Just be ourselves. Men, like, okay, you like a woman to dress up. You may like her to have her makeup done and everything. So are you cool with her not having on makeup one day? Are you cool with her rocking her natural? You know what I'm saying? Are you cool with her just t-shirt and sweatpants and some tennis shoes? You know what I'm saying? Are you cool with that? Or you don't like that? Or are you cool with her? Let's just say, I'm going to use me for an example. Let's just say she has a condition and she may not be feeling well today. Are you all right with her just being down for the day? Can you pick her? Like, I think it's more of, we want to be, I need this woman to do this. She got to cook. She got to be able to cook. I've even heard guys saying, here recently, I was in a discussion and they were like, I can't even get a meal just one meal a week. And in
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I'm like, they ain't cooking at all. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I think we gotta put forth. It goes back what you said, Clarence. I just think we need to put forth more effort in um bringing about peace to the date, not making it so hard, enjoying
Mm-hmm.
each other, make that first date, let it be peaceful, calming. We don't have, we can go to a whole, like, let's go have tea.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be this extravagant restaurant.
Hold on though, Steph, because I've heard women say, "Hey, if you're gonna take me out on a date, remember I talked about women say, hey, bring something to the table,' and my
Right.
rebuttal was every table requires something different
Something
when it
different.
comes to."
Yes, that's
You
true.
have certain women that say, "Hey, listen, taking me out to Starbucks, that's not a date."
Mhm.
Even my wife say, "Hey, that's a pre-date." That's what she calls it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pre-date, but okay, so whatever that looks like for that woman or that man may like to go to Eddie V's. He might want to take
Mhm.
her to Eddie V's, right?
Her
So,
favorite.
we can go to Eddie V's and that's fine too. But let me see what you like outside of Eddie V's. I want to know, like, are you thugging it or are you not? Are I just need to know what I'm dealing with. I don't, because I can cook a gourmet meal. I can do that. I
Ah.
just want to be able to know, like, who you are, what it is you're doing, what do you want to do, what's your goals. Like,
Mhm.
again, we got to start being more open with communicating. I think we've gotten so we've stopped communicating because of cell phones. And
Mhm.
cell phones, like you said, has caused us to hide behind. You can hide behind a text message, right? Or
Yep.
email. You don't have to put forth much effort.
Or a
I
profile.
oh, I rather I want you to tell me, like, hey, meet me to the park. I want to talk to you. Or I got something for you, a little note. Just was thinking about you today. Something old school, it's those simple things, but that's what worked for my table.
Right. And
Again, like you said, other people's tables, it might look different. Like, because uh, I'm at a point in my life where I don't have to have all this extra.
mhm.
I've had the extra. I've had the glitz and the glams.
Hold on, let me
Uh,
see.
okay.
Jeff say you preaching stuff. You say transparency is key.
Yes.
How well can you really get to know somebody by going out to eat on dates in particular? You say
Mhm.
you preaching stuff. So I just want to give you your
All
roses.
right,
I
Jeff
will
Short. Thank you for shouting out today, Jeff.
most definitely, most
So what do
definitely.
you think, Clarence? Like, how do you think we could be better or do better?
So it kind of you stole my thunder right there. You're a thunder stealer. So yeah, it's going back to that transparency and just being willing to understand. See what I do as a relationship coach. I help men. I help women bridge that gap of understanding. Okay, so communication and understanding. But yet the thing is that we most times aren't comfortable enough to be transparent for somebody to understand us. Why? Because we don't feel like that person is going to understand us. And
Right.
so that's what makes most people fearful of revealing certain information, is because, like, I don't know you well enough to trust you to still look at me the same before I might have let said information out. So, I'm not going to do that. But when it comes to the communication, yes, we do need to be more transparent. But on the other end, we need to recognize that, hey, we all have flaws, and just because this person has certain things that may not be right on schedule for us, that doesn't mean that we should diminish them or, discard them,
Right.
right? Because I think that when it comes to the topic of wanting the right one from day one, it's
Hmm.
because many times we discarding good stuff,
Yes.
good people. And like I said earlier, just because a person may not look like what you want doesn't mean that's not the person God created for you. So
Right.
too many times we focused on, you know what, hey, I'm looking at it like this, and the way he does, and so many things can be. I'm grateful and glad. I'm so grateful to have my wife, because I know she's a woman of understanding. That's one of her biggest qualities. That's where I came with this whole slogan, because it wasn't like Clarence was perfect.
Right.
The man I am today is not the man I was in 2012, 9 years ago, right?
Right.
And so I developed into this, and she developed, you know what I mean? And I was not ready made. You see what I'm saying? In my mind, I had certain things going for me, but there was also things that was working against me as well.
Right.
So it was up to her to feel like, you know what, this I see value, and this is good ground to sow in. And it needs to be the same on both sides. Both has to be able to say, hey, I can understand what's going on. Because what you mentioned, hey, if a person is dealing with something like, or something health related, are you willing to deal with that and still say, you know what, I'm willing to move forward and invest into the situation, because the person it is just that much more value. It's that much valuable to me. So let me see. Cliff Young says, and we're gonna read these, and guys, right now is the time for y'all to drop those comments. So if you have anything to discuss, anything that's on your mind regarding the topic of wanting the right one from day one, then let's hear it, right? So I got a few comments on Facebook and YouTube, and then also let me see. I want to read this comment on Instagram. The white background. I gotta switch this white background. I can't see nothing. Let me see. Florida Lotus says, with me, people show interest and then they change after 5 to 10 days, and I am not able to speak. That hurts to the other person. So you what you got to find out is, what is it, Flotus, that makes a person meet you and then 5 to 10 days later they're leaving you? Because to me, before anything else, we need to get some clarity on that. I think personally, it's hard to judge any situation if that is a pattern, because Pastor Dozier said this, and I believe he said people don't have habits, they have patterns.
Yes.
So if your pattern is, I meet a person, we cool, 5-10 days later, it's like you ghost.
Yes.
It's something there that hasn't been tapped into. I'm gonna see my guy Cliff Young. He said, I'm divorced and hate dating. I like older women. That adds peace of mind. The energy has to match. It's about the vibration. Said my kids are grown as well. So he's saying, hey, he hate dating because he like older women. That adds peace of mind. But I want to know, Clifford, is peace in your life important to you? Because that's what I was saying earlier, as far as the two major things that all men are looking for in a woman when it comes to, when we compare, women say, I want a provider and a protector. Men say, I want peace and I want understanding, period. So let me know, Cliff. So Steph, before we get on up out of here, I want you to kind of let everybody know that is newly familiar with you, where they can find you at. I see you got your banner behind you for your
my book.
Kind of tell us about some of those things and where people can link up with you, for those of viewers that didn't get to hear you introduce yourself or me introduce you, and they want to know how they can connect.
We didn't even do that. We just went in. So my name is Stephanie A. Wynn. I am a published author of Ready, Set, Go, a simple guide to establishing a successful small business. And you can reach me on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Stephanie A. Wynn, across all of social media platforms. And so I'm having a Jumpstart Your Business with Confidence masterclass. Is coming up May 4th through the 25th. And this, Clarence, it has a lot to do with building confidence. And before we could build confidence, we have to unpack a lot of things that are holding us back. A lot of times, and even this goes to not just the entrepreneur, it's for individuals who want to build confidence in who they are individually. You know, it starts on the individual side. Before you can even be confident in starting a business, it just starts there. And so my goal is to impact and empower. It's a 4-week masterclass. It's going to be amazing. One of the bonuses is that everyone who attends the class will be interviewed on the Let's Talk Business with Stephanie A. Wynn podcast. So, and that's a part of building confidence. You have to be able to know that you can do this very thing. If it's writing a book, if it's personal development, if it's business development, you have to be confident within yourself to know that you can do this very thing. And the same thing with relationships. You have to have confidence. We have to have confidence, men and women, to know that you are great. You're great. You can do and be whatever you put your mind to, right? If you believe it in your heart, it will be. If you believe in your heart, it will be. And so, again, for us to do better, we have to be more transparent without the judging, without, just being transparent. It doesn't matter, what it feels like. It's going to feel uncomfortable because, when you're so used to doing one way, like you say, we're going to go back to those patterns. When you're used to doing certain things the same way and you're getting the same results, well, then there's something needs to be tapped into, because maybe there's something that maybe you shouldn't do during the first few dates or whatever. So again, we just got to be open to what we have become accustomed to. We get accustomed to, I want this type of guy. It's almost like a menu, like a dollar menu at the fast food restaurant. You want to pick and choose what you want, but you're not willing to put in the work. And so we want what we want, but we don't want to put in work. And that goes back to the microwavable daters. We got to do better. And we got to understand and know who we are dealing with. And I believe you have that in your book about the expectations versus reality.
Versus reality. Most definitely. And guys, as I said before, if you love me, if you got love for the show, if you get something out of this, if this has brought value to your evening or in your life in particular, then I need you to go to the website relationshiphealing.co. Sign if you are a woman. Sign up for that checklist. Or if you're a guy, if you just want to peep out and make sure, I'm on point in what I'm saying, hold it down, then you can grab that checklist as well so that you can make sure, like, okay, my dog on point. He making sure, he's rightly dividing the line of truth, the word of truth. And so, I need y'all ladies to go grab that checklist because, of course, when it comes to just time, which is the most precious resource we have on this earth, it gets wasted too much. And like I say, I only say that because from a professional standpoint, I have so many women that it seems to have, they have wasted so much time. And now when it comes, okay, Clarence, I need you to help me. And it's like, well, why'd you, now you here? And it's like, this not even it. And now you want me to help twist it into something like, no, it's not. I have to tell you the truth, right? And so if you're able to see that a lot quicker, guys, and a lot quicker, ladies, then you'll have a lot better relationship successes because now, like Steph said, you go into the date and you're able to identify, you're able to differentiate what you're hearing, questions that are being asked to you, you're able to identify, okay, hold up. From that checklist, said low quality dudes ask these questions. High quality dudes are concerned with this. Low quality dudes are concerned with these things. And now it'll help you be prepared for any dating situation. So I need y'all to grab that, as well as know that if you do want assistance with attracting a quality man, a man of high character, I have a course for that as well. It's an online course, and it's a 30-day process. Again, like we talked about, anything can be changed in 21 to 30 days. Hey, listen, that's why I'm giving you the tips, tools, and signal signs that men have given me to offer to women that explains what it is about women that they decide to date and ultimately marry that is different from other women. So if you want to know where the best places to be found by a quality man, if you want to know what signals and signs a man is looking for in a woman that he decides to date and ultimately marry, or just even approach you, then that's also within that course. It's going to help you to be able to communicate with a guy in tight spaces without coming across desperate or thirsty, and still be able to be subtle but assertive. All of those things are inside the course right now. It's only $24.99 until June. And June 1st is going to go up. All right. So grab that right now. Sign up for that course if that's something that you're interested in. That's on relationshiphealing.co. I got a couple more comments before we get on up out of here. Jeff said, is your podcast on YouTube, Steph?
It is not yet, but it's on all the other major platforms: iHeart, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Pandora. I also put the link to the website so you can go to letstalkbusinesswithstephanie.com.
Most definitely. And all I'm asking y'all is try me, man. I got my book. Come and talk to me, The Women's Guide to
Yes.
Why Men Don't Communicate. Listen, I got to reposition it because I'm got stuff going on everywhere, cameras everywhere. But yeah, go ahead and check that out, especially for some of the secrets to why you don't see men come out and be who they truly are right off the bat. And speaking about what you talked about earlier, how are you able to have reasonable expectations and have some expectations when it comes to dating and moving forward with somebody? So all of those things on my website, go check those things out, man. I appreciate the love and support, and we out, man. So I'm gonna hit y'all. I got a couple more little things that I wanted to show for everybody that's locked in on Facebook and YouTube. We doing some big things over here. We trying to upgrade. So
I see you.
Instagram, like I said, go to my website. The podcast for Deja Simone, she says the podcast is Let's Talk Business. Let's Talk Business with Stephanie A. Wynn. That's on all streaming platforms. So please, please, please show your love and support. You can go grab that. Not even grab that, but just go listen to the podcast that she has up and that she's continuing to do great work on. So Instagram, I appreciate y'all locked in. We're going to see y'all
Thank
on
you,
another
thank you,
live.
thank you, thank
And
you.
hold on. Facebook and YouTube got a couple little things for you. All right. So Steph, hold on tight.
Okay.
All right.